Whoever controls the calendar controls the timeline itself. We told you the intervention wasn't ancient. It was closer than you think. September 2nd, 1752, Britain and her colonies go to sleep and wake up on September 14th. 11 days, simply gone, not lived, not skipped over in memory, erased from the calendar by an act of parliament, as if they had never happened at all. This isn't folklore, this is the Calendar Act of 1750, correcting centuries of drift between the old Julian calendar and the new Gregorian one. The math, they tell us, simply required it. But the people living through it didn't experience math. They experienced 11 days of their lives vanish overnight, and they were furious. Crowds gathered in the streets of London chanting the same 4 words, "Give us our 11 days." It became so widely believed, so deeply felt, that the phrase found its way into satirical paintings of the era, immortalized in the public imagination as proof of a government stealing time from its own citizens. Workers demanded wages for days that, officially, no longer existed on any calendar. Landlords collected a full month's rent, for a month 11 days shorter than any month that came before it. Birthdays shifted, feast days shifted, an entire nation's sense of when things had actually happened, quietly rewritten by decree. A government with the stroke of a pen decided which days counted and which days simply didn't. Here's where the standard explanation stops, and where the harder question begins. If 11 days could be erased once, by simple decree, what stops 11 from becoming 100? What stops 100 from becoming 300? A small controversial body of research, largely dismissed by mainstream historians, though never fully answered by them either, asks exactly that. It's known as the phantom time hypothesis. Its claim that nearly 300 years of the early medieval period, roughly 614 to 911, were never actually lived at all, fabricated, inserted into the historical record by a coalition of powerful medieval figures for reasons the theory's own defenders still debate among themselves. The most commonly cited version names 3 architects of the deception: Pope Sylvester II, the Byzantine Emperor Constantine VII, and the Holy Roman Emperor Otto III. 3 men, the theory claims, each with their own motive to move the calendar forward, whether to claim their reign coincided with the symbolically significant year 1000, or to align their rule with prophecy, or simply to seize the political weight that comes with being remembered as having ruled at the turn of a millennium. The evidence offered is strange and admittedly thin, a scarcity of archaeological material from those 3 centuries compared to the periods before and after, architectural styles that seem to skip forward without the gradual evolution you'd expect, astronomical records, eclipses, comet sightings that some researchers claim don't align cleanly with where those 3 centuries should sit, a suspicious concentration of construction dated to exactly the years the calendar reform would have needed to justify itself. Mainstream historians reject this outright, and for what it's worth, the evidence against it is substantial. Charlemagne alone left behind coinage, correspondence, and construction that would be difficult to fabricate at the scale the theory requires. Most serious researchers consider the phantom time hypothesis a fringe curiosity at best. If 3 centuries were truly fabricated, the implications extend far beyond a single medieval reign. Every historical event dated against those 300 years, treaties, successions, recorded battles, would need re-anchoring against a false framework. A single insertion at the root distorts everything built on top of it, the way a single false premise can quietly corrupt an entire chain of reasoning without ever announcing itself. This is precisely why mainstream historians treat the theory as dangerous nonsense rather than harmless speculation, not merely because the evidence is thin, but because if it were ever proven true, it would force a wholesale redating of nearly a millennium of recorded history. The stakes of the claim are enormous, which may be exactly why it remains so aggressively dismissed, regardless of the merits of any single piece of evidence offered in its favor. But the pattern underneath both stories, the documented 1752 calendar and the theorized missing centuries, is the same pattern this vault keeps finding again and again. Whoever controls the calendar controls the timeline itself, and whoever controls the timeline never needs to sit on a throne to hold power over everyone living inside it. Consider what a single act of parliament accomplished in 1752 without a single soldier, without a single vote from the people it affected. 11 days, gone from every ledger, every birth record, every legal document, in every colony under British rule, simultaneously. No war was fought, no blood was spilled, a committee decided, and the calendar obeyed. And if you think this kind of control over time belongs only to the distant past, consider how recently the modern world has fought the very same battle. For decades, international committees have debated whether to eliminate the leap second entirely, a single extra tick added periodically to keep atomic clocks aligned with the Earth's slowing rotation. In 2022, the world's timekeeping authorities voted to phase it out by 2035, citing the chaos it causes for computer systems and financial markets. Nations still argue over which time zone should govern disputed territories. Countries still debate abolishing daylight saving time entirely, shifting the clocks of entire populations by decree, exactly as Parliament did in 1752. The specifics change, the pattern does not. Whoever sits on the committee decides what time it is for everyone else, whether they asked for the change or not. If that much control exists in a documented act openly debated in Parliament and recorded for anyone to read, what confidence do we really have that no one in a less documented age ever attempted the same thing, quietly and without leaving a paper trail behind? So here's a question worth sitting with long after this video ends. If a single act of Parliament could erase 11 days from an entire empire without a single protest strong enough to reverse it, what else in the centuries since might have been quietly adjusted and never seriously questioned at all? Not hidden in a vault, not encrypted in some secret archive, simply written into law, filed away, and left for historians 3 centuries later to accept without asking why. What do you think was really being protected in 1752? The accuracy of the calendar, or something else entirely? Leave your answer below. This vault is always listening. The lineage we described before, the one that built its signature into stone, into street grids, into the currency in your pocket, left one more mark hiding in the most fundamental structure of all. Not a monument, not a symbol carved into marble, the days themselves, the very measure by which every other secret in this vault has been dated, catalogued, and quietly filed away.